Have you ever felt it? That strange tension when she looks at you, the silence that feels heavier than words, the moment where you know something is there, but you can't prove it. What if I told you, most women never show desire the way men expect, and that's exactly why so many men completely miss the signs. Today I'm going to reveal 7 hidden psychological signs. She secretly craves you, not obvious flirting, not cheap compliments, but the deep emotional and behavioral signals that appear only when attraction is real. Before we begin, make sure you watch this video till the end, because the final sign is the one almost every man misunderstands, and it quietly determines whether attraction grows or disappears forever. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like, because what you're about to learn today can genuinely change how you see women, relationships, and yourself. Let's begin. Intro, a hard truth most men never hear. Here's the first uncomfortable truth. Women rarely chase men, but women emotionally lean toward men. Desire is not loud. It is subtle. It is psychological. It is slow, and it is deeply connected to how safe and grounded you feel to her nervous system. Most men think attraction is built by being funny, being nice, being impressive, being always available, but real craving begins somewhere much deeper. It begins when a woman feels emotionally stimulated, yet not emotionally controlled. When she feels seen, yet not pressured. When she feels drawn, yet not chased. Now let's uncover the signs. Sign 1. She remembers small details about you that you never thought mattered. This is not random. When a woman remembers the exact story you told weeks ago, the small frustration you mentioned in passing, the dream you casually laughed about, the music you said helped you through a bad phase, it means something very important. Her mind is emotionally tagging you. Psychologically, the human brain only stores emotional relevance deeply. So when she recalls tiny details about your life, it's because your presence is creating emotional stimulation inside her mind. But here's the deeper layer. Women don't crave facts about you. They crave how they feel around you. And remembering your small details is a subconscious way of staying connected to that feeling. This is not friendliness. This is emotional attachment forming. Sign 2. She tests your emotional stability without realizing it. Most men don't even notice this. She might delay replies suddenly. Oh, challenge your opinion softly. Mention another man casually. Change plans last minute. Or become briefly distant, not to play games, but to read your emotional control. Here is a psychological truth most dating advice never tells you. A woman does not feel safe with a man who collapses emotionally under uncertainty. If your mood crashes, if your tone changes, if you start chasing reassurance, if you become cold or passive-aggressive, her attraction quietly weakens. But if you stay centered, if you don't emotionally beg for certainty, if you remain calm and respectful, her nervous system reads you as grounded, and grounded men feel powerful without being dominant. That is deeply attractive. Testing is not cruelty. It is subconscious filtering. And when she keeps interacting after testing you, it means you passed. Sign 3. She opens up about emotional pain, not just daily life. There is a massive difference between, I had a busy day, and I don't trust people easily anymore. One is conversation. The other is vulnerability. When a woman starts talking about past heartbreak, family issues, personal insecurities, emotional confusion, disappointment with people, she is allowing emotional exposure. Psychologically, vulnerability only appears when emotional safety exists, and emotional safety is one of the strongest foundations of craving. Here's the part most men destroy. They try to fix her. They advise. They lecture. They rationalize. But women don't open emotionally to be corrected. They open emotionally to be understood. If she continues opening to you after several conversations, it means your presence is not threatening to her emotional space. That is rare. And rarity creates value. Sign 4. She mirrors your energy, your speech, and your behavior without noticing. This is a powerful subconscious sign. If you notice, she starts using your phrases, adopts your humor style, reflects your body posture, slowly adjusts her communication rhythm to yours. This is not coincidence. This is psychological synchronization. The human brain mirrors what it feels emotionally aligned with. We mirror people we admire. We mirror people we feel connected to. We mirror people we desire emotionally. Mirroring reduces internal resistance. It creates a sense of emotional similarity, and similarity is one of the strongest predictors of attraction. But here is the deeper part. When a woman mirrors you, she is unconsciously trying to maintain emotional harmony. Harmony feels safe. Safety deepens attraction. Sign 5. She allows silence with you without trying to fill it. This sign is extremely underrated. If you can sit quietly together, if conversations naturally slow, if pauses don't feel awkward, if she doesn't rush to distract the silence, this tells you something profound. Silence activates vulnerability. Most people avoid silence because silence exposes emotional awareness. When she is comfortable being silent with you, it means she does not feel the need to perform. She does not feel judged. She does not feel anxious about your perception. And emotional comfort is not built through excitement. It is built through nervous system regulation. This is where real craving starts, not in flirting, in emotional stillness. Sign 6, she seeks your perspective on personal decisions. Notice the difference between, what should I buy? And, what do you think I should do about this situation with my job? When a woman asks for your perspective on personal matters, she is doing something psychologically important. She is allowing your cognitive frame to influence her internal world. This is not about advice. This is about trust. It means she values how you interpret reality. And when a woman values your perception of life, she begins emotionally positioning you as stable, grounded, mentally reliable. Men who influence a woman's internal narrative become emotionally significant. And emotional significance is far stronger than physical attraction. Sign 7, she becomes subtly protective of your connection. This is the hidden sign most men misread. You may notice, she reacts when another woman enters your conversation. She changes tone when you mention someone new. She becomes slightly more expressive after emotional distance. She becomes more present when she senses competition, but not in dramatic jealousy, in emotional awareness. This is not control. This is emotional investment. Psychologically, when someone begins protecting emotional access, it means attachment has started to form. She may not label it as attraction. She may not consciously admit it, but her emotional system has already registered you as someone important. The most important truth about female craving. Now listen very carefully. Craving is not created by chasing, convincing, proving, overgiving, emotional pressure. Craving is created when your emotional state feels regulated and self-contained. Women are highly sensitive to emotional imbalance. When you place your happiness on her responses, when your mood depends on her attention, when you seek validation through her behavior, your emotional center moves away from you, and that weakens your perceived value. This is not manipulation. This is emotional psychology. A Stoic principle you must understand. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Here is how this applies to attraction. When you master your emotional reactions, when you are not internally desperate, when you are not afraid of uncertainty, when you are not seeking emotional completion from another person, you become emotionally grounded. Grounded energy is calm. Calm energy feels stable. Stable energy creates emotional safety. And emotional safety creates craving. Why most men never experience this level of attraction? Because they try too hard. They rush emotional outcomes. They interpret silence as rejection. They overanalyze messages. They become emotionally reactive. They personalize every small change. But attraction does not grow in emotional chaos. It grows in emotional steadiness. A short story you may relate to. Think about the person you once deeply cared about. Not the one you chased. The one who made you feel understood. The one who didn't emotionally overwhelm you. The one whose presence calmed your internal noise. The one who felt familiar without explanation. That is how emotional craving forms. Not through excitement, but through emotional alignment. Here is a quiet warning most men need. Never try to force these signs. Never try to perform emotional intelligence. Never try to manufacture mystery. Women feel emotional authenticity immediately. You cannot fake nervous system regulation. You can only build it through inner discipline, self-respect, boundaries, purpose, emotional self-control. That is what actually builds attraction. How to develop this without becoming cold. Many men misunderstand Stoicism. Stoicism is not emotional suppression. It is emotional mastery. You still express care. You still listen. You still show presence, but you do not collapse emotionally. You do not become needy. You do not surrender your self-worth to external validation. That balance is rare, and rarity creates psychological magnetism. Let me summarize the 7 hidden signs clearly. She remembers small emotional details about you. She tests your emotional stability. She opens up about emotional pain. She mirrors your energy and behavior. She is comfortable with silence. She values your personal perspective. She becomes subtly protective of your emotional connection. If you notice several of these signs appearing together, do not rush. Do not escalate emotionally. Do not seek labels. Allow emotional space to remain safe. Space does not weaken attraction. Pressure does. The final truth you must understand. Here is the final psychological truth you must understand. This fantasy is not sexual. It becomes sexual only after emotional safety is established. It is emotional first, psychological first, energetic first. And this is where most men completely misunderstand women. They think attraction is created by words, by looks, by confidence displays, by bold moves, by perfect timing. But real desire is created much earlier than touch, much earlier than flirting, much earlier than physical closeness. It begins inside a woman's nervous system. Before a woman ever imagines your body, she imagines your emotional presence. Before she imagines intimacy, she imagines how she feels when you are around. This is the part no one teaches you. A woman does not open her desire through logic. She opens it through safety. And safety does not mean comfort. It means emotional predictability without emotional boredom. It means stability without control. It means strength without emotional pressure. When emotional safety is missing, the mind stays alert. She may feel excitement. She may feel curiosity. She may even feel physical attraction. But her nervous system never relaxes. And a nervous system that does not relax can never surrender fully into desire. This is why so many connections feel intense at first, and then suddenly fade. Not because attraction disappeared, but because emotional grounding never formed. Without emotional grounding, small misunderstandings feel dangerous. Silence feels threatening. Distance feels like rejection. Uncertainty feels unstable. And slowly the body protects itself by pulling back. That is why, without emotional grounding, physical desire fades quickly, not dramatically, not loudly. Quietly, it fades through reduced curiosity. It fades through shorter replies. It fades through emotional distance. It fades through lowered investment. And most men never realize what actually changed. But when emotional grounding exists, desire does not spike. It deepens. It becomes slower, heavier, more rooted. She does not feel rushed around you. She does not feel evaluated around you. She does not feel emotionally pressured around you. She feels allowed, and feeling allowed is extremely powerful for a woman, because most of her life is spent managing expectations, reading emotional signals, adjusting her behavior to avoid conflict, and protecting her emotional boundaries. So when she meets a man whose emotional world is regulated, not numb, not distant, not reactive, but stable, her system finally rests. And when a woman's nervous system rests around you, her body opens. Not immediately, naturally. This is why the fantasy is not sexual at the beginning. It is emotional. It is the fantasy of being understood without explaining. It is the fantasy of being accepted without performance. It is the fantasy of being held emotionally without being controlled. It is psychological, because what she truly desires first is not your body. It is your emotional reliability, your consistency, your ability to remain the same man, whether she is close to you or distant from you. Your ability to remain respectful, even when you feel uncertain. Your ability to remain grounded, even when you do not know the outcome. This is deeply attractive because it signals maturity, and maturity creates safety. It is energetic, not mystical. Emotional energy. The energy of your reactions. The energy of your tone. The energy of your patience. The energy of how you respond to silence. The energy of how you respond to boundaries. Women read this energy continuously, not consciously, nervously, biologically. Your calm communicates more than your words ever will. Your stability communicates more than your confidence ever will. Your emotional self-control communicates more than your desire ever will. And slowly, without effort, Her imagination begins to associate you with emotional ease. With emotional grounding, desire deepens slowly and powerfully. It becomes layered. It becomes emotional attraction, mental attraction, and physical attraction aligned together. That alignment is rare, and rarity intensifies craving. She does not obsess. She attaches. She does not fantasize wildly. She feels connected. She does not feel pulled into chaos. She feels pulled into emotional certainty. This is why real desire feels different. It does not feel urgent. It feels meaningful. It does not feel explosive. It feels stable. It does not feel addictive. It feels grounding. And that is the highest form of attraction. So understand this clearly. The fantasy is not about what you do to her. It is about what you do with yourself. It is about how you regulate your emotions, how you manage uncertainty, how you respect boundaries, how you carry disappointment, how you handle silence, how you treat her when you are not getting what you want, because a woman watches you most closely when you are not being rewarded. And that is when real craving is either created or destroyed. Without emotional grounding, physical desire fades quickly, but with emotional grounding, desire deepens slowly and powerfully. Your real work as a man. Your real work is not learning lines. Your real work is not learning tricks. Your real work is not decoding every signal. Your real work is mastering your emotional world. Because the moment you stop needing external validation, the moment you stop attaching your self-worth to someone else's response, the moment you stop letting silence, delays, or uncertainty disturb your inner balance, you become dangerous in the calmest possible way, not aggressive, not manipulative, not emotionally cold, but internally unshakable. And that changes how women experience you. You stop trying to create attraction. You become the emotional environment attraction grows inside. When your presence feels stable, when your reactions feel measured, when your attention feels intentional instead of desperate, a woman's nervous system relaxes around you, and relaxed attraction is deeper than excited attraction. It lasts longer. It bonds stronger. It creates emotional gravity. That is why men who master themselves rarely have to chase anyone. They are not louder. They are not flashier. They are not trying harder. They are simply centered. And people move naturally toward what feels grounded. So before you try to understand women, learn to understand your own emotions first. Because most men don't lose women due to looks, money, or status. They lose them because they are emotionally chaotic inside, reactive, needy, inconsistent, pulled by anxiety, validation, and unspoken fear. A man who doesn't understand his own emotional patterns will always be confused by hers. He'll call it mixed signals, when in reality, she's simply responding to his unstable inner state. Before you try to control outcomes, learn to control your inner state. Outcomes don't follow words. They follow energy. They follow presence. They follow the calm certainty of a man who is grounded within himself. When you're desperate for a result, you leak neediness. When you're afraid to lose, you tighten your grip, and that's exactly when things slip away. But when your emotions are mastered, rejection doesn't shake you. Silence doesn't provoke you. Uncertainty doesn't make you chase. And here's the truth most men never hear. The man who governs his mind never needs to beg for attention. He doesn't over-explain. He doesn't perform. He doesn't negotiate his worth. His calm becomes magnetic. His restraint creates curiosity. His self-control signals strength without saying a word. He doesn't chase attention. He becomes the place attention wants to stay. Because women don't fall for men who try harder. They fall for men who are centered, grounded, and unmoved by chaos. Master your inner world first, and the outer world starts responding differently. Not because you demanded it, but because you finally became someone worth orbiting. If this video helped you understand women more clearly, make sure you subscribe, like, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this today. And remember, with that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.